Hey friends, welcome back. Today is our 11th day of contemplating the transits as we close the 2022 year and open up the 2023 year. Today, we, of course, have a beautiful movement, and I'm just going to share my screen. And we're back to this energy of the thinker. Isn't it just marvelous how life shows up for us? Space shows up for us. And once we give ourselves that breathing time, that contemplative field of breath, now we can see how the transiting system, it's not here to work against us. It's here to empower us and support us and share with us. So here we are back for the next 5.7 days into this energy field of the thinker. And the thinker is, it's grounding itself in those details. So, and something that's really important to recognize when we're looking at these pairs across the mandala, you can bring them in and see how the energy plays off, but know that those pairs along the mandala that are opposites of each other or harmonic pairs, they're not always, they don't always create a channel. There's only three of them, the 43-23, the 34-20, and the 37-40 that actually create a channel, and they're across from each other. The rest of them do not. However, you want to look at that because you're blending in those details. So what we know about the 61st gate is that there is truth out there. There's mysteries, and inside those mysteries, there's a truth. And, I look at the truth as what is true for us moves. That is exactly what the emotional system teaches us. What's true for us is in motion. It is the emotion that actually is giving us this movement of truth. So what was true for you at the age of 5 or 15 or 25 and today is not true for you today. But there are principled truths. There are mechanical truths. There are these deep, embedded, universal truths that are just present no matter what. So cause and effect, that is something that is a truth. It is what we do with it shows us what's true for us, but at the core of it, there's truth. So these inner mysteries, and they're really not mysteries. Once you lean into the principle, the mechanical aspect, the law aspect of it, now all of a sudden those truths are like, oh, okay, well, let's lean into them. Once you lean into them, now the world unfolds. And what's true for you will always look different than what the mass hive-minded aspect of humanity sees. So again, we're back to this thinker, and we're grounding this information in the 62. We're asked to look at what are the actual details. How are we, what's the routine? What are those small details of the routine? And again, we've been seeing this. This has been something that is showing up. Again, that's why you see so many coaches talking about it right now, because it is in the fabric of the consciousness field at the moment. What are those tiny little routines, those tiny little details that may be holding you back from your own truth, from the occult knowledge that will serve you? So, I have the capacity and the time to allow for my first line, motivated personality to just explore. We have the wherewithal financially, and time-wise, I also do. And watching how the cross of planning turned occult knowledge, which is really, secret knowledge that really isn't secret. It's available to all of us. But they twisted it and they created this delusion for us that took us away from the magic that's inside of each one of us. So I want you, again, for the next 5 days, because this is what's being supported, is to lean into how are you thinking? And using your ability to witness, look out into the world and go, how is my thinking creating the results in my life? And where did these thoughts originate from? Were they thoughts from the news, per se? Where did these thoughts originate? So that you can really get to the heart and soul in detail of where did the thoughts come from? Are they actually your thoughts? Are they the collective's thoughts? Do they come from this inner space of just knowing, from contemplation, from that pause, from that space? Or is it from the cacophony of, and I'm contributing to it here as well, of noise, the cacophony of noise that is bombarding humanity? Like, just imagine at this very moment. I live in the country, so is there some EMFs? Of course, I have Wi-Fi. My neighbors have Wi-Fi as well. However, when I drive closer to town, I can feel the cacophony and like there's millions of radio waves flying through, internet waves, radio waves, electromagnetic waves, all this stuff flying through, and we can only tune into a tiny little small amount of it. But what is that tiny little small amount that we are tuning to? Is it a part of the cacophony? Or is it a part of the truth? So these are things to contemplate in the next 5.7 days. Lean into it and really look at the thought patterns. And I fall into this too. So don't think, oh my goodness, I'm so bad for falling into it. You're not bad. It's there for us to investigate it. And you might not have any first lines in your design. So maybe you are naturally not going to investigate, but naturally you're going to pull on your gifts, or just how you embody it, or how you have a trial and error process and connection with it. So don't beat yourself up about it. Just get yourself in this space, because that's what the transits are giving us right now, to be able to pay attention to the thoughts flying through your mind. Because today we also have the moon saying, you know what, I'm going to pressure you. And there's actually a fuel here for confusion. We are not designed to see the sequence prior to the sequence happening. We are here to be able to recognize the sequence after it's happened. So teachers like Rudolf Steiner, Manly P. Hall, Ra Uru, they all talk about these sequences, the sequence of events. And when we can just pull back out of there and go, okay, what was the sequence? And how did that sequence serve me? What was I thinking in that moment? One of the other occult processes that has been used for centuries is reverse engineer your day. So imagine yourself from the moment that you lay down, and now reverse it to the moment that the last time you were sleeping. So maybe you had an afternoon nap and you can cut your day shorter. Or you had a full day, maybe it was a 16-hour day. So what we do is we start to get the capacity of our mind to review what were we thinking in those moments? What were we doing? What was the cause and effect of our momentum? Which then leads us into the resource aspect. So, what did we think was true, but actually shifted because we moved, we made an adjustment, or we thought differently, and all of a sudden, oh, hold on a minute, that's not true for me anymore. So I watch this in my life. I'm guessing you watch this in your life, that even what was true for me yesterday, I know for sure what was true for me, like about 5 weeks ago, I had a reflector ask me a question. And it was such a deep contemplative question. And immediately there was an answer, and I I just dropped this answer, and it was very defensive. And I watched it drop, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know if that's true. I don't actually know if that is true or not. I love how my hair just flips. I don't know if that's true or not. So I just allowed for that question. I kept hearing her ask me this question, and it was just seeping around and playing around in my cellular structure. And lo and behold, the answer just found me. And I'm like, hey, wait, hold on a minute. I was thinking about this in a totally different way. And the answer provided itself to me. And I was like, whoa. So I responded back to her and I said, thank you for that question, because what unfolded in 5 weeks' time was not what I was expecting. So these are the things that you get to do for yourself as well, is learn or talk or write out some really good questions for yourself. Just let it be there. Have someone else like myself ask you these questions. What is true for you in your life of resources? So what I recognized in the life of resources is that I was spending a shit ton of money on groceries. We don't eat that much food. There's 2 of us in the house. And I'm like, what am I doing? So there was this big push, like my family has always been like this. My grandparents, my parents, it's like store, 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 store. We have to save, we have to bring all this. And I'm like, I can walk outside and eat pine needles off my tree for the entire winter and survive. What am I doing? So I had to look at what the truth truly was and what was true for me around resources. So the exact same thing can happen for you in the next 5.7 days. Is just take a look. What are the limitations that you might be actually fighting for? What are some limitations that you're fighting for? Oh, I can't do this, or can't do that, or oh, the market is saturated. Oh, there's so many people doing this. I can't do this. I don't know how to operate a cattle ranch, so I'm not going to go do it. I don't know how to create online art, so I'm not going to do it. These are the things that we fight for our limitation. We fight for I don't know how, so I don't know how, then I can't go forward. How can we look at that and think about it differently? How can you identify with your skills, your gifts, your talents, your innate knowing? Like, I have never had your experiences. You're the only one with your experiences. What the heck did you learn from them? How can you package that up and innocently take people in a new direction based off of your experience? How can you look at your past experiences and see them through the lens of, wow, that really took me to the next level of my understanding and knowing of self? So I was in a coaching program with one lady, and she had gone through massive, I think I've shared this here before, sex trafficking. And I'm bringing this up because we have the 36 here, because so there's a lot of sexual crisis around the 36. And for up until like 5 years ago in her life, she allowed it to dominate who she thought she was. And all of a sudden one day she just had the epiphany, she had the breakthrough. Someone asked her the question, like, why did those experiences that you've had, why are you allowing the limitation of what someone did to you create a belief pattern about yourself? What? So the humans in her life, the authority figures in her life, just looked at her as someone who could be utilized sexually and thrown away. And of course, she adopted that into her life. And she abandoned her own self in that process. And then all of a sudden she recognized, hold on a minute. I'm the only one that can love myself and bring compassion to this. So let's do it. So she now has a multi-million dollar a year company. She's helping hundreds of sex trafficking victims. And I don't want to lead with the money, but I just want you to know that she just chose to stop the limitation. She chose to go out and help others bring compassion and kindness and self-love back to themselves. And she didn't lead with money. You know, she didn't, oh, I'm going to help you make 6-7 figures, blah, 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 none of that. So you can have a soft sell in the coaching industry. You can come from a place of compassion and heart from your experiences and attract the clientele that are absolutely magical for you. So, you know, I would recommend that. I would highly recommend that. But first, use the next 5.5 days to lean in. How are you thinking? What are you thinking? How do those experiences that you've had up until this moment and this moment and this moment, are they limiting you, or are they opening you up for this space where you can utilize the space to now move into a new direction? All questions. So I opened up the mentorship as well, people, and it is there. It'll be in the link below. I can't wait till January 17th. So really in the calls, there's going to be 2 calls per month, 84 minutes each. As Ra Uruhu said, that 84 minutes is the time span for our brains to be able to, you know, be malleable. After that, they start to harden. You know, are we going to probably go over in some of them? Possibly. As well, just so you know, you guys have been here, you know that I love to give, I love to talk, I love people pulling energy out of me. And there'll be pop-up calls every now and again when I respond or something's asked. There'll be some pop-up videos happening inside of there too. Just so you know, it's non-linear, non-traditional. It'll be question and answer based. It's not going to be, okay, you're going to learn level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, or foundations, analyst, you know, PHS, all that. I'm going to help you really embody the holistic view. So you'll have the opportunity for me to sit one-on-one with you in these calls. If you put your hand up, you will have the opportunity to play. I'm going to have the capacity to create circles. You guys will be able to partner up. You'll be able to play with each other's charts. You'll be able to do so much stuff and have a space where you can just lean in. All right, friends, we start January 17th. Hope to see you there.